Hey Morgan, thanks for joining me today on this video. Wanted to bring you on because you've been doing really well in the 10xBnB community. You're one of our all-stars. You're very active in the community, and obviously, you've actually got 3 rental arbitrage properties. So super stoked about that. And I wanted to share your story with the rest of the community so that they know that everything that we teach is actually possible. You can go out there, whether you want to manage properties, rent properties for rental arbitrage, or buy properties, everything is doable. So maybe if you could tell the audience a little bit about yourself, what you were doing before Airbnb and 10xBnB, and then and then what you're doing now. You got these 3 rental arbitrage properties.
Yeah, most definitely. Thanks for having me, Sean. Yes, my name is Morgan Nelson. I reside in the beautiful city of Tampa, Florida. And before I got introduced to Airbnb, I was working for a company called Green Earth Building Maintenance. And it required us to travel state to state, setting up Amazon buildings for operation. And it was a great job, great pay. However, I was just never home. And I got tired of that. And also I have a vending company, Van Zet Vending Inc., which is pretty good. But because I was always traveling, I was neglecting that. And my business was becoming stagnant. Mm-hmm. And I've always been the type of guy to where I believe in multiple streams of income. I never want to be dependent and relying on just one stream. No matter how much money it's making, I have to have others because you have slow seasons, let's be honest. Mm-hmm. So I was just thinking about, what industry, what type of asset, I can acquire that will allow me to stay afloat and to maximize my revenue and to, give me that financial freedom, that financial peace. And I ran across Airbnb. I heard about it because I was unfamiliar with it at first, but I heard about it. It sounded interesting. And I wanted to learn more. So, while doing that, researching, I came across one of your ads, 10xBnB, and I seen the bed flipping. I'm like, hey, man, what is bed flipping? What the heck is that? If you actually flipping beds. And then as I, caught my attention, I began to watch more and more. I'm like, wow, man, it's too good to be true. Is that? So you mean to tell me you can, manage and make money and you don't have to spend anything and use somebody else's mansion to make money? And, so it was very intriguing. So I say, hey, I'm a guy that, I always bet on myself. The course, definitely wasn't cheap, but I didn't look at the monetary aspect. I looked at the value I was getting, the education that can never be taken away, especially if I apply it, how it's supposed to be executed. So I took a chance on myself. I said, you know what? Let me give them a shot. I see these guys' portfolios. I see you guys' profile, clean cut. I seen the website. You definitely have the credibility. And I said, man, if these guys can do it, I can do it. I'm human too. I have a brain. So I gave it a shot. And by far, man, it's one of the best investments I ever made. Not just because, I've acquired 3 rental arbitrages, throughout the duration of being in 10xBnB, but it's the education, it's the community, it's the family. It's the lessons that, we learn that goes way beyond Airbnb, just life lessons in general, your camaraderie. And, you and Art, man, are great teachers, great mentors, and you're motivators, man. You show people that this really can be done, especially you got 3 classes, in 1 week. Who does that? That's very unheard of. 3 coaching classes, in 1 week. So right then and there, man, I knew it was love. And I know you really are investing. You're a stakeholder in our success. And I really appreciate that, man. I just want everybody to know that, hey, listen, it is feasible. It is true. You can be a high thousandaire and a millionaire off this, but it does take work. And when I say work, I'm not saying hard labor, but it takes strategies, it takes strategizing, and it takes putting that due diligence in the videos, the modules, man. You can't circumvent. You got to study, and you don't just watch it one time. You got to figure out. You may got to watch it 4 to 6 times. Right. And but if you just remain diligent, it will come into fruition. It has to. The universe has to bring it to you. It's law. So that's my experience. Airbnb is the greatest industry by far, my personal opinion. And I wish you guys the best, man. Just keep going. Don't give up. Stay at the course.
I really appreciate that. And maybe just one thing, if we could show the audience, if you could share your screen, maybe just show them one of your rental arbitrage properties that you have live on Airbnb. I think that'd be.
So this is right here. This is one of my first properties. I branded it the French Quarter. Thank
Yep.
you. I named it the French Quarter because it has a inspired old French design. It's a townhouse, and
Yep.
yeah, I feel like it's in a unique neighborhood. It's not in a high class neighborhood, more of a
Mhm.
middle class. But I
Mhm.
just seen potential in it.
Yep.
And listen, ladies and gentlemen, I was only paying $1,600 a month.
Nice.
I'm like, hey man, $1,600. Through the 10X BNB, they said I can double or triple. Those are great numbers. Let's see if I can actually do it. And
Yeah.
no lie, I've done that. I've actually, made more than double, more than triple, sometimes quadruple. I've been as high as 51 to 5,200 a month on this property that I only
Nice.
pay $1,600 for. Lowest may be what I think my lowest performing month having this property was like 43, 4,400.
Nice.
And can you believe I was pissed off? I was like, man, 4,400, man, that's
Yeah.
how spoiled, I became.
Right.
And I actually, man, and it's listen, no lie, I actually quit my job off this one property. I'm
Nice.
no longer, I don't clock in for nobody.
Right.
I have freedom. I get to raise my daughter, raise my son, be with my family, home. I had financial freedom. It started because of this one property, man. And as you can see, I had a professional photographer come in, dedicated workspace, nothing too fancy. The rooms are fairly basic, but if you can see, it's the photos, the professional photos what makes it,
Right.
gives it that appeal. But, something basic, no TV, just something very simple for travelers that's coming in and going just to handle business. They're not here for vacation and sightseeing the city, just coming to handle business, and on to the next one. But yeah, simple bathroom, show you the outside of it. Yeah, but here's it go.
Yep.
Here you go. Nothing too fancy, right? Mediocre neighborhood, but
Yeah.
hey.
I'm amazed at this. I'm amazed at this story because, you have a fairly basic property. You're paying $1,600 a month. So this isn't a mansion. This is not some 5-star residence, but you've taken your $1,600 rent and you're getting 3 to 4x, right? $5,400 peak, and on the low end, around 4K or 4,400K. So, you're doing 3 to 4x pretty consistently on this property. And how much did it even cost you to furnish this property? Because again, for context for everyone watching, Morgan chose rental arbitrage with this particular property. So he didn't choose to manage this one. He did rental arbitrage. So how much did this one even cost to furnish?
I'm gonna say I know I didn't spend over $1,800.
Wow. So you basically bought everything used, like Facebook.
Yeah, I bought everything you that was the strategy. That
So
was the
you
strategy.
like 1,800 plus 1,600 in rent. I mean, that was really your startup cost, and you made a profit in your first month. And first month of doing, you're already profitable. Yeah.
Most definitely.
And,
Most definitely. Everything's used. Nothing's brand new,
yeah.
except 2 mattresses. And I highly recommend. Listen, don't buy used mattresses because I had an incident where I bought a mattress and unfortunately it came with bed bugs, and I had to spend money, and it's a very horrible situation. I don't even want to elaborate on it. But friendly advice, family, do not buy used mattress. I repeat, do not buy used mattress. Make sure it's new. Everything else, you can come used, come refurbished, go to Facebook Marketplace, offer up, and you'll be amazed on some of the furniture material they have listed. It looks very nice. That can give your place a pop.
Yeah.
And just take it. You guys tell me. Hey, listen, look. Those bed sheets are new. I didn't get those used. Of course, I got those from Walmart. But those pictures, the dresser, that picture of the mirror. That work, dedicated work desk. This is all. Hey, this is all. Look at the paintings. This is all.
I love this story. And again, for anyone watching, full context. Again, there's 3 ways to get into Airbnb, right? You can manage your property, which costs you nothing. Or you can do rental arbitrage, which is exactly what Morgan's done here, right? So a little bit more cost if you do rental arbitrage. You do have to pay for the furniture. You do have to pay for rent, but you can see $1,600 rent, $1,800 in furniture, and then he's making $5,400 a month on it. So he's crushing it. He's making a solid profit margin. And I guess the last question I have for you, Morgan, is you've got 3 rental arbitrage properties. You're crushing it. What's the next step for you? What are you planning to do next? Do you want to continue doing rental arbitrage? Do you want to manage properties next? Do you want to buy properties next? What's the next step?
Well, I'm big on diversifying my portfolio. So eventually I would love to get some bed flipping deals under my belt. Because I feel like it's just so cool, man, how I can just, the looks on somebody else's face that, I made them money, a property they were struggling with. I maximize their revenue while simultaneously making great money on the side. And basically, I have no risk. I don't have to come out of pocket with nothing. That alone, man, is just amazing. Somewhat too good to be true. So I definitely want to have that in my portfolio while, continuing growing my arbitrage. Because arbitrage is great. You make majority of the money with rental arbitrage. But, everybody is not in a fortified financial situation coming into this thing. So if you're not, I definitely recommend, the bed flipping. But fortunately for me, I had a nice little nest egg that allowed me to invest and move forward with this particular approach. But you can't go wrong with any of them, man, even if owning. Maybe one day I maybe own, but right now I just feel like it makes more sense, using somebody else's property and maximizing revenue. I mean,
Yeah.
$1,600 and bringing in type of money. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
So, that's my take on it. But yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. You guys can do it. But just be mindful, like they say in the 10X Airbnb, the supply has, inflated. So we got to make sure we stand out. So, when I first started, I was a little basic, but I had to make some change. I had to go back to the drawing board because I had to, a lot of Airbnb started popping up in my ear. And I was like, hey, how can I distinguish myself? How can I set myself apart? So.
No, and I love to see your success. Love to see what you've done. You've listened to us with respect to carving out a niche for yourself, which is what you were alluding to earlier. If there are more Airbnbs popping up in your area, that's okay. Carve out a niche for yourself, carve out a specialization, differentiate yourself. That way you're always getting booked. Tune in on the SEO modules so you know how to rank on Airbnb. And finally, tune in on the pricing modules so you know how to price on Airbnb. But you've done it all. I love to see what you've done, and I'm looking forward to seeing you add more properties to your portfolio and just seeing where you go from here. So thank you for tuning in with me today. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome, man. Thanks for having me, Sean. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.